Hello and welcome everybody to today's very special Commodities Corner session presented by myself, Phil Carr, at the Gold and Silver Club. So today, during the session, we will be covering the biggest trading opportunities right now. We'll be looking at how to use fixed odds trading for maximum profits. We'll cover live market analysis, and we'll be doing identification of high probability trade setups on the commodities. And of course, we'll be answering any questions that you have throughout the session. Any questions or comments, do please post those in the chat, and we'll definitely go through those during the session as well. So first off, the main markets that we trade on binary.com, the most lucrative commodities are the metals, gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. And on the energies, we trade crude oil. So we'll be having a look at these in real time very shortly. We'll have a look at the technical setups that are developing on those. We'll have a look at the potential trade setups that we've got on binary.com as well. We're marrying the two together for high probability setups. So we'll take a look at that very shortly. Before we do so, for those of you who are new to the Commodities Corner, welcome, and let me introduce you to the Gold and Silver Club. The Gold and Silver Club is essentially an international commodities trading, research and advisory group. We specialize in the precious metals, the energies, and the agricultural markets. We are recognized as the leading go-to authority on commodities. As internationally respected experts, our analysis and opinions on the metals, the energies, the agricultural markets, they're routinely sought after by major financial television channels and publications, including Bloomberg, Reuters, CNN, Global Banking and Finance Review, and the Wall Street Journal. Our team of experts has advised and taught technical analysis, fundamental research, and portfolio management to more than 75,000 private and institutional traders worldwide. So for more information on the Gold and Silver Club, please do feel free to visit us on our website, www.thegoldandsilverclub.com. Okay, fantastic. So what we'll do, we'll have a look at the price of gold at the moment, and we'll go through some of the technical analysis with you very shortly as well. So currently gold is trading at $1,181 an ounce. We had a little bit of a pullback this morning, but we're finding support at the moment, developing a little bit of a rejection candle on the daily chart, which we can have a look at very shortly for some setups. And the top trades of the week using the Gold and Silver Club signature trading strategies have been as follows. So first of all, we had a lovely breakout trade earlier in the week on platinum, and this was a rise trade for the price to be higher, entering at 956. And on platinum, on the binary.com platform, it's great because you don't have to pay any large spreads, so these trades are very easy to execute, just a very simple trade for the price to close higher, and that has really done well over the course of this week. So platinum's continued to surge. Brent crude oil offered a quick sell short opportunity earlier on this week. After we came up, we tested a major resistance level last week. Been very interested on oil over the last week because we've in fact given back all of the gains now on oil that we had from last week. So if you remember last week, we broke out from some key resistance zones. We've continued to follow through right up until Friday. And this week, we've just seen oil break down, and it's given back a lot of those gains. So we'll take a look at that very shortly on the charts as well. With gold, we've also had a nice breakout trade this week. Very simple again, rise trade for the price to be higher, buying at $1,169 an ounce. We're currently sitting at $1,180 an ounce, so very straightforward breakout from the pennant formation. We've continued to surge over the course of this week, and again, just the rise trade for the price to be higher has worked out really nicely on gold too. So what we'll do, we'll move it over to the technicals. We'll take a look at the charts with you. We're going to be looking at two different types of trades today. So it's going to be the higher and lower trade. So if you select higher, you win the payout if the market exit price is strictly higher than the entry price, and if you select lower, you win the payout if the market exit price is strictly lower than the entry price. So a very straightforward way to trade the markets. The advantage of this way of trading is that you don't need the market to deliver you really big moves in order to win the payout. You literally just need to see a 1-point move in the direction that you predicted over the specified time frame in order for you to win the entire payout. So that's why it's quite lucrative. You don't need to have stop losses on these trades. You don't need to have take profits on these trades. So it's ideal for you to take these sort of trades, one, on volatile markets, and two, if you've not wanting to watch the screens all day. So it's very much a set and forget type of trade. So we'll take a look at the technicals. I'll share my screens with you, and I'll go through some technical analysis and some of the setups that we see lining up as we head into the US session just this afternoon. So bear with me as I bring out my charts and we'll take a look at that, some of the setups which are lining up at the moment. So let me just switch these screens for you, and we can take a look at that very shortly. Okay, great. So you should all be able to see my charts at the moment. We're going to start off here and have a look at the US dollar index. And the reason we'll have a look at the US dollar index is because of the inverse correlation to a lot of the commodities out there. So typically when you see the US dollar selling off, which it has done over most of this week, you will see an inverse correlation, and you will see the precious metals in particular surging, and vice versa. When you see the US dollar going up, this also puts pressure on the metals. So what we can have a look at here is we've got the US dollar. We're going back about a year's worth of data here. We'll just have a look at where we're sat in terms of the price structure. So if we just draw on a level of support where the price is currently sitting around the bounce off the 93 zone, you can see on the chart that this is definitely a key zone of support. We have had a bit of a bounce off that zone over the last couple of days. It's quite interesting today because we are at a key point for the US dollar where if it does break down from these levels, particularly if it breaks and closes below 94, we could really start the momentum pick up. We could see the momentum pick up next week to the downside. That will be supportive for a lot of the metals. But if we do get a bounce from this zone, we could potentially get a V-shaped reversal pattern here and come all the way back up to major resistance, which will put pressure on the metals. So you do want to keep an eye out for this inverse correlation. You can see, in fact, on the chart here, if we have a look at the larger time frames, where this key zone around 93.75 has been supported a lot. You can see that very clearly where the US dollar, it is on the larger time frames, it's still range bound. So there is a potential for a pop-up higher here. Now, it has got to get through some key resistance above in order to do that. We can have a look at the larger time frames, just have a look at the weekly, and that's quite interesting. On the weekly, we do have a rejection candle, which is forming at the moment around a key support zone. So what we want to keep an eye on today is how the US dollar is going to close, because if it does close with a nice strong rejection candle today, that could really start to build momentum to the downside for the metals as we head into next week. Now, we're not quite there yet. Anything can happen over the US session this afternoon. You just want to be mindful of that at the moment on the US dollar index. Now, if we take a look at gold, gold has had a phenomenal breakout over the last week. If we have a look at the much larger time frames, we discussed this on last week's Commodities Corner as well, where we had this overall pennant formation, particularly on the higher time frames, had a nice pop above the last 3 months worth of highs. Looks like we're going to close this week pretty strong as well on gold. If we have a look again at the weekly chart, you can see we've had a nice pop at the upper end of the resistance channel. This has also previously seen a bullish rejection candle here get triggered to the upside from the upper end of this resistance. We've broken out to the upside and we've followed through, and at the moment we're still sitting around the 1180 zones. It's still looking quite strong for gold into the close here. There is the potential for gold, in fact, to rally all the way up to the upper end of this resistance channel if we have another strong close this week, and next week we break again above the weekly highs here. So it is something to have a look at. If we have a look at gold on the daily chart, you can see we formed a doji yesterday, so really nice rally from this pennant formation. We formed a doji. At the moment, we had a bit of a pullback this morning, but we have a hammer which is formed today. What we want to do in order to get into another entry here on binary is we want to see a break back above 1190. If we can get above that zone, 1190, and clear above it, this will give us some good momentum to the upside as we close the session today and as we head into next week. So that will be very strong for gold. It would need to rally about another 100 points in order to do that for a good breakout to the upside. So keep it on your radar. It's not quite ready for another entry at the moment, but if it does break above 1190, we are interested in getting into this for a buy position. Now, if we have a look at silver, silver has also had a very similar formation. We had a pennant formation on higher time frames, also on the daily chart. We've got a nice pennant formation. We've had a solid breakout here to the upside. We've consolidated, which is what we needed to see silver do in order to go higher here. So it's had a breakout from the pennant formation and it's consolidated, so it's continued to move sideways, and now we're looking for the next pop higher here. You can see we're getting much tighter in this little range at the moment. You've got higher little candles on the daily chart, And also you've got overhead resistance at the moment, which is sitting just around the 1620 zone at the moment would be the key level that we need to see broken out from. So we're getting a little bit tighter. You could argue there's a little bit of a pennant formation starting to form here, and we're looking for a breakout to the upside. So again, if we can clear above the weekly highs here with silver too, if it builds up momentum as we go into the US session this afternoon, we could see a nice breakout to the upside again for another entry long. So definitely keep an eye on both gold and silver. Now, if we move over and have a look at platinum, you can see, again, been a really good breakout from the lower end of this trend channel. It's had a very good week on platinum as well. We've continued to surge to the upside. You can see we've just come across a bit of resistance on the daily chart here. Nice bullish close. Yesterday, we've come up and we're getting a bit of a pullback on the daily. If you have a look at palladium as well, palladium's also still consolidating. On the higher time frames, palladium is worth definitely keeping a lookout on here as well, because if we do get a break and a close between either the highs on the weekly or the lows here, we could really start to see momentum to pick up in either direction. So if we get a break and a close below the weekly, we could really start to see momentum pick up to the downside for a sell short. And if we break above 723 here, we could see momentum pick up to the upside for a buy. So I would look at both of those scenarios. So you're looking at potentially a break of 679 for a sell and a break of about 723.50 for a buy here. So I'll definitely keep an eye on that for palladium. Platinum as well, similar situation. If we do break and breach above the weekly highs here, we'd be looking for a break above about 1,009 US dollars per ounce. If we do get a break above that level, we could then get more good follow through and we could go for another buying opportunity here. Moving over to oil, I see oil as one of the main day tradable opportunities today, particularly on the tighter time frames as well. In fact, let me bring it out to the larger time frames just to give you an idea of where oil is sat at the moment. So oil has, this is on Brent crude oil right now, we've had this overhead resistance, got a V-shaped reversal pattern, but the overhead resistance at 54.22. So we had a really nice breakout and a surge last week to the upside, which has not been able to clear and close above 54.22. In fact, oil has given back a lot of the gains from last week. It's pulled back, but it's come right back towards the lower end of the trend channel. So very curious to see what oil can do this afternoon. If we have a look at the daily chart here, you can see we've got a nice rejection candle which is formed at the lower end of the channel. We could do with a little bit more confirmation, but for our first aggressive entry, we've already cleared. So you can see we've got a nice trend channel on the daily chart. We've come all the way back down. We pull back with a higher swing low on the chart, which is normally what you would see on a market which is continuing just to pull back, but then looking to slingshot higher again. We've already cleared above yesterday's high here. So for a first entry, I'm interested in an aggressive buy here for the price to close higher by the end of today. Okay, so I'm going to look at that for a rise trade, and I'll go through the criteria, what exactly we're looking for on this setup. So we're going to be having a look at this in a matter of hours for the price to close higher. So bear with me as I just go through this setup, and we'll see how far out we can go today. Okay, perfect. So what I've done here, we've gone over to the commodities on binary.com. So we've just selected start trading. We've gone to commodities here, the commodities tab, up and down. We're looking for a rise or fall trade. So it's rise or fall. I've got the energy market here. So this is Brent crude oil. Start time is 12 GMT. So that will start the contract in 7 minutes time. Just do a quick refresh here. And I'm looking for the price to close higher. So you can see it's a 92% payout. And the deposit on the trade is $2,604.81 for a $5,000 payout. So that is the trade setup that I will take. So I'm looking, again, we've got good confluence here. We've had a pullback on oil. We're looking for good follow through this afternoon. All I need is the price to close higher by 1 point than 49.95 by the close in 6 hours time. And then that will win the entire payout. So I'm looking for some good follow through today. We've pulled back to the lower end of a major trend channel. I've got a higher swing low on the market. I'm looking for more upside. This is my first entry in oil. Aggressive entry. I'll probably look to take more trades on oil this afternoon. If that's a confirmed move, we continue to see a surge later in the day. So I will take that trade, 92% payout, $2,604.81 deposit for a $5,000 payout on that. Okay, beautiful. So that has been done. So that is the trade that we've taken at the moment, just for a buy on Brent crude oil. So we'll just move it over to have a look. You've got very similar confluence also for light sweet crude oil here. You can see where we've had a nice pullback towards the lower end of the trend channel as well. Very similar price structure, good rejection candle, which is formed just at the lower end of the channel. So I do like both of these for a potential buy here as we head into the US session. Good follow through, which we'll be looking at as we head into the US session. Now, if we go over, we'll go back to the precious metals. For those of you who made it onto last night's session where we discussed some of the biggest trading opportunities which are coming up over the next couple of months on the commodity market, especially some of the scheduled announcements such as non-farm payroll, the FOMC announcements. If you missed that session, do make sure you go back, you go to the binary.com YouTube channel. You can re-watch that session yesterday. We covered a lot of key announcements which will be coming up in the coming weeks, so make sure you just go back to the YouTube channel and you watch that. We also took a couple of trades on that session as well. So at the moment, I see for today the best opportunity as Brent crude oil for a buy. Looking for a little bit more confirmation here in order to add again to platinum. I'd need to see a break above today's high, which will be a break above $1,009 an ounce. For palladium here, I'd like to see a resolution either of support or resistance broken in order to get confirmation for a trade. Silver, if we can clear above the weekly highs again, which is sitting around 1620, we'll get in for another buy opportunity for another breakout. It's had a good breakout over the last 2 to 3 weeks. It's consolidated now, and we're looking for another surge higher, so just waiting for confirmation. Very similar situation on gold here as well, looking to see if it can continue to follow through and get above 1190 later on this afternoon. So those really are some of the key trade setups that we're looking for as we head into the US session today. So if there are any questions or comments on that, do keep those coming, put those into the chat, and we can go over those. Now, if you would like more daily commodities analysis, live trading ideas, ready to implement on binary.com, there is now an opportunity for you to join the Private Traders Club at the Gold and Silver Club. Okay, and with that, you get access to Master the Markets training course, which is gold dust. So on the training course, essentially you can go through everything you need to become a successful trader. It's a full-on commodities training course designed for beginners to advanced traders. What does it cover? It covers everything from the technicals, the fundamentals. It goes through our strategies at the Gold and Silver Club, from news trading to long-term trading, day trading, and it goes through the indicators we use. And it's a very in-depth training, really gives you the theory, the background, how we trade the markets, why we trade the markets, and gives you all the tools that you need to understand and successfully trade the commodities. So if you are really looking to take your trading to the next level, it's something that you definitely want to consider. You also, with that, you get access to daily commodities trading ideas. This is really where the implementation comes in at the Gold and Silver Club. So once you've gone through the theory, once you've gone through the Master the Markets training course, you will have access to daily trading ideas where we've gone through the markets, we've done all the technical analysis for you, we've provided the entry points that we're personally looking at, the exit points, the take profit targets. So a lot of the hard work there is already done for you, and we're providing a short list of profitable trade setups to take across the markets on a regular basis. As well as that, you also get bi-weekly technical analysis videos. So what is that? Well, it gives you a deeper insight into where we get our trading signals from. So exactly what we're looking at on the charts, why we're taking certain trades, the signals that we're looking at, the indicators that we utilize for that for every single setup we take on the commodities. So it really helps to compound your knowledge at a much deeper level, so you understand the thinking and the analysis behind the commodity markets that we trade. And also what you'll get is access to the inside track. Now that is a week ahead wealth plan, which again is just gold dust. It sets you up for the week ahead. We will do full analysis on all of the commodities that we trade at the Gold and Silver Club. The major announcements coming out that week. We'll also be looking at the specific entry, exit points, and any major trends which are coming up. Consider all sorts of technicals, indicators, seasonality. So really it's ideal for those of you who perhaps you might have a full-time job or you've got other things to do during the week. So being able to watch that week ahead wealth plan just really sets you up for the week ahead. And especially if you can't check in too much during the week, you can just go over the weekly wealth plan, and that will really go through a lot of key technicals that you need to be aware of and fundamentals for the following week. So if you are interested in that and taking your trading to the next level, again, we provide the theory, trade setup ideas, You've got videos with analysis during the week ahead well plans, so you have everything that you need to become a profitable trader. This has really come as a result of a lot of requests from our traders throughout the years of having a package that we put everything together for you to become a successful commodities trader. And the Private Traders Club, newly launched, is what really provides that solution. So if that is something that you would like to get involved in, all you need to do is just a case of going to www.jointhegoldandsilverclub.com. And what you need to do is just fill out the application, and then we will get in touch with you ASAP, okay? So very simply, www.jointhegoldandsilverclub.com. Again, application is to the Private Members Club. It's all by application only, and once you complete the form, we'll get in touch with you ASAP. Okay, guys, so thanks again to binary.com and the team for hosting today's session. For those of you who will be taking us up in the Private Traders Club, we look forward to welcoming you to the Gold and Silver Club. Wish you all a great weekend, and we'll definitely see you all on the next one. Okay, take care, everyone. See you later. Cheers. Bye-bye.